Welcome back. I bet you weren't organizing while we were gone. Shame on you. You may need someone like Perri Kersh. She's the owner of Neat Freak Professional Organizing, and I know I certainly do. Now, in the last segment, Perri, you were talking about being at least 1,000 homes. I'm just kind of curious. Is there a common thread that seems to run through all of these families, which would include mine, where we tend to keep more stuff than we need?
I would say the common thread is just a lack of time. Most people that I tend to work with just say, I just don't have the time to do this on a regular basis, and I feel really overwhelmed. Things accumulate really easily, and stuff keeps coming in. That's the other issue that I see. The mail continues to come in, kids continue to have birthday parties and get more gifts. We continue to go shopping and buy more stuff, so there's not just a natural flow of things. And then just having that issue of how do you on a daily basis keep up with all of those organizing tasks that surround you.
Is this a family project? What I mean by that, not only husband and wife, but the kids, should they also get involved in this?
Oh, I definitely think you should get the kids involved. I often tell my clients, you can let me be the bad cop and say it's my fault that they're being asked to participate. But even from a pretty young age, I think starting around 3, I think kids are capable of doing some very simple sorting and categorizing projects. And I try to make it fun. If you're going to involve the kids, I'll say turn on some great music and, you know, say we're going to organize and race and see how many things we can get put away while this song is playing. Or use a tool like a hula hoop and place that down in their playroom and say just organize the things inside of the hula hoop. You know, I think from a young age we're kind of expecting kids to know how to clean up, but we really have to teach them how to do that and tell them what it means to have, you know, a clean space and to put things back where they belong.
Does that make it easier when they hit the teens? If we're starting young?
Oh, I'd like to say it makes it easier. I think sometimes teenagers can be a little bit more challenging, but I really do believe organization is a life skill. If we're teaching our kids from a young age how to take care of their things, how to respect them, how to find them easily so we're not losing lots of time looking for lost things, we're helping them in school, we're helping them in their jobs one day, we're helping them when we launch them out into the adult world so they have these organizing skills. And when I'm working with families, I will often quote the movie The Incredibles. They talk about the villain says at some point, if everyone is super, no one is. And I always say, if everything is special, nothing is. Yes. And I think we can kind of teach our kids that lesson from an early age, that they don't have to hang on to everything to feel like everything is special, because if they do, then kind of nothing ends up being special. And I think that's a really good life skill to teach kids from an early age.
That's so true. Now, going back to the common thread, and I think that's true, you know, I just don't have the time to clean the garage, the closet, whatever it is. So as a professional organizer, and we touched on it a little bit, some of the specifics, some of the tips maybe. I look at, for instance, my garage, and I go, it's overwhelming at times. So help us out. Where do we start?
Well, I will say one of the benefits to hiring a professional organizer is that you will give it the time. I often equate our work to being like a personal trainer, that you know you need to exercise, but you'll really work out harder if you have that trainer there. And if you've got an organizer there, you've already committed the time and the money to bringing a professional in. And I do think that can really help if there's a task you just find yourself putting off over and over again. But even for someone who can't bring in a professional or doesn't have those resources, I think first you want to kind of assess the whole situation and start to break it down into small and manageable bits. Not everyone can take an entire week off to say, I'm going to clean up my garage and be able to park my car in there again, but you might be able to start with one wall of that garage and start to take everything that's from that space, sort it, categorize it, see what really still serves you, what could serve someone else and be donated or taken to, you know, the free shed at your local recycling center. What can you get out of that space so you have less stuff to deal with? And then once you have everything sorted and categorized, you start to group it like with like. And this is just a common thing we do as organizers. We come in there and we say, these are the things you're going to use to wash your car. Let's get all of these items together. These are all of your bicycle tools. Let's put all these things together. And it can be great to create these sort of zones of activity around your space so that when you do have that weekend you want to wash your car, you know where all of your stuff is.
Makes it easier to put it back.
Exactly. And so, and it saves you time. You're not hunting around for things all over the place whenever you need to, you know, take care of that task. And it may even be with something like a garage. You're going to have to give it 3 hours every Saturday for a couple of weekends weekends in a row, but eventually you'll start to see your progress, which is really motivating, and you'll really start to see the benefits of it. And come next winter, when there's ice out there and you are able to park your car in the garage, you're going to be really grateful that you took the time to accomplish that task.
Having the, you showed us the files, for instance, which is a great idea. I mean, it's almost common sense, really. You should have them. But for bigger projects, oftentimes you get clutter because you want to save it, but you have no, you don't really have a place to put it.
Sure.
So are there things one could buy, for instance?
So I'm a fan of clear containers, I will say. First of all, I just think anytime you can see what's in there, you're going to know, like, oh, these are my collectibles. Also love a label maker. This is an organizer's best friend.
Yes.
Pop a label on there, you know exactly what's in there. But the great thing about clear containers, you can see what's in there. And the other benefit is it's a finite amount of space. You're saying, I can keep this many keepsakes. And that's it. You can't get the lid on if you continue to stuff things in there. And there's something about setting that limit for yourself of saying, I can only have 15 pairs of shoes. I can only have 8 linear feet of books. Creating those limits with a container or within your space is another way of helping you maintain that organization. So you're not continually bringing more and more stuff in and really just, giving up your free space to entertain freely or to enjoy the things that you like to enjoy in your home.
I just think having less clutter is awesome. How do folks get a hold of you?
So my best way to reach me is via my website, which is just neat-freak.com. They can also Google Neat Freak Chapel Hill, and I'm really easy to find. I have a contact form on my website, and people are free to contact me at any point and see how we can help them get and stay organized. And I'll also share, there is a National Association of Productivity and Organizing Specialists in this country, and there's a chapter here in North Carolina. That website is just naponc.org, and that's a list of other organizers in the area. And many of us specialize not just in residential organizing, but also in time management and working with adults with attention deficit disorder, all kinds of different specialties of professional organizers. So I always like to say there is someone out there for everyone.
Well, I'll be calling you.
Okay.
So, thank you so much. What a pleasure. And thanks for the tips.
Oh, sure thing.
Yeah, I'm going to go start. I'm going to head out to the garage now. Maybe you want to do that too. Thank you so much. Don't go away. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.